This is a HeadGum podcast.
Celebrity Book Club. Who's that knocking at the door? It's all your friends, you filthy whore. Your husband's gone and we've got books and a bottle of wine to kill. It's Hollywood. It's books. It's gossip. I'm shook. It's memoirs. It's martinis. It's Studio 54. It's Celebrity Book Club. Come read it while it's hot. Celebrity Book Club. Tell your secrets, we won't talk. Celebrity Book Club. No boys are allowed. Celebrity Book Club. Say it loud and proud. Celebrity Book Club.
Buzz me in, I brought the Cuervo.
Hey, best friend!
This is Celebrity Book Club.
So this is Celebrity Book Club. We're going to be talking about a really exciting book that touches on so many issues that are important to us.
Marriage, weight loss, cuisine.
Image.
Creams, having multiple marriages, adopting.
AIDS,
good friends, passions, remarrying. Anyway, we are talking about
none other
than Elizabeth Taylor.
And her nationwide #1 bestseller, Elizabeth Takes Off on Weight Gain, Weight Loss, Self-Image, and Self-Esteem.
This kind of gives a hint to what the type of book it is. It says it's a deluxe softcover edition, which is such a horny way to describe a paperback. It is deluxe.
It actually is deluxe softcover. It's big, but the edge of the book goes over the page a bit, which you really don't see. Your typical paperback, the cover and the page is going to be at an exact same length.
It's faux hardcover.
It's faux hardcover, but it's floppy like a soft.
So we are joined today by a friend, someone who escaped the studio system of Hollywood.
And has the scars to prove it, sweetheart.
Comedian, thinker, philosopher.
One of the greatest philosophers of our time, one of my favorite people on earth. She got me into this business and she'll get me out of it.
Oh my God.
Host of the podcast POOG. And this June, July, and August, returning to the stage at Cherry Lane Theatre, New York City, for her groundbreaking one-woman show, Get on Your Knees, none other than Jacqueline Novak.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that plug. You nailed it beautifully. GetOnYourKneesShow.com, GetOnYourKneesShow.com. QR codes will be available, so keep an eye out for them, folks, if you're not remember.
Well, we're all obsessed with
title.
QR codes now. You know, it's QR this, QR that for menus, so people should be used to it.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we should dive into the book.
I am dying
to talk about it.
So this book is part memoir, it's part diet book. There are recipes at the end.
Part lifestyle.
Part
exercise.
Philosophy, self-help. I think you see actually the seeds of the wellness movement in this book. And she kind of references the 80s as being this decade when that started. She goes to me generation, then the 80s were, when people started to have more self-discipline, as I think the phrase she uses.
Right.
But yeah, and I guess I would say, just to preface it, she starts the book by saying, I got fat, and this is how it happened. And then this is how I lost the weight. That's kind of like the intro.
No, it is. And it's what stunned me about the existence of the book alone and thrilled me, okay? Because no one would write this book today.
No one.
Okay?
Oh, they would get canceled in a second because it's...
Yes.
She talks about, being 180 pounds... And some of us on the microphone may be that current weight.
Yes.
And she says, she's like, when I was a hog, when I was a whale, I said, hey, whale.
Yeah.
Hey, orca.
I have some quote because, to me, the fact that it's truly, it's about weight entirely. You know what I mean? Does she have other autobiography?
So
does
she
have
has a
other
whole, this is what I
memoirs?
love about this book is she has another book, I think, about her drug addiction, which she kind of crosses on. It's not the phrase, whatever. But I'm I feel like she has other memoirs that she talks about her...
treads a passage
Yeah,
through.
but it's we go through her 7 marriages pretty fast, which is so fabulous. She's like, oh God. And then that was when I adopted this German baby who had a broken hip.
Are you waiting for your life to take on this quality of things that you could remember later and list them off? There's something about these kinds of books with these big stars. It's like they have infinite memories. They just have so many things, right, that happened that they're like, oh, that's when I was in France for 2 years. There's a quality to the way they describe their lives.
I'm actually afraid I've started doing it and it makes me feel old.
Well, you've always had an excellent memory. And Lily has an excellent memory for like people we've met, people I've slept with, parties we've been to, that the kind of the minutia that might escape you, like because you were inebriated at the time.
Totally.
Something like that. But I do think that we all do self-mythologize to some extent. And
we must.
There's certain pieces of my life that I could do the same thing with. Like I can tell you every time I was arrested or beat up in New York City in my 20s. Like I could like list them to you in a course of a page in a book, and it would sound very
badass,
dramatic and badass, and you'd be like, "Oh wow, like
he's really lived."
You know, I could list all the cities I've traveled to, and you would be like, "He's really lived." So I think there's some topics,
some illusion,
where I think the mind mythologizes.
I also think she has the confidence since she's lost the weight and has had 7 marriages. I do. Yeah. It's like, are you jealous of the weight that, or just to be like, our passion will never fade.
You know what? Actually, though.
And you can be 7 marriages later, but talking about 3 marriages ago.
I'm realizing something now.
Yeah.
Go on.
Is that is a device, listing all the marriages is sort of a device to cover the fact or somewhat obscure the fact that there was maybe only 1 or 2 that really, really got to you and really, really hurt you. And when you say all of them, it sounds like,
brilliant.
I've lived this big life. I've like, you know, oh, she must be so confident and carefree that she can go through and like, and leave men on the street and get another one and leave another one. And that she can like have such a lust for life and for new experiences and for gathering all this new experiences to her door. But really, she is just as sort of fragile as any of us who are still hung up on one little thing.
Well, no, but she admits that Richard Burton and whatever, Mike or something, were her greatest loves.
Mike Todd.
Yeah, Mike Todd, who died in a horrific plane accident.
Oh God! I mean, you got to really watch out if you're famous, you know, with the planes. I mean, this is clearly
there was a long period. I feel like we were still in the period though, but small planes and rich people can be a really deadly combination.
The
fact that they consider a small plane a luxury is is the problem.
That's so true.
What's a luxury about plummeting to Earth?
Also being on, because also, because people think pilots are hot. Maybe, and you want to be there in the cockpit, and he's like,
well, obviously there's a
classic
classic male, you know, I mean, since the dawn of time, man has wanted to adventure and conquer, and what is unconquered but the sky, and so you have John F. Kennedy Jr., Kobe, you know, these people.
DJ AM.
Yeah.
Was DJ AM a pilot in that plane that crashed?
I don't think so. No, I think he was a passenger.
Yeah.
It's like maybe men, cis, straight men, get high off, you know, being like, I'm riding with the pilot.
No, they do have a pilot fixation. And
so a job I would never want.
Oh, God. I mean,
pilot, sailor, naval engineer.
Oh, sailor I dream of. I have many naval dreams, submarine dreams,
really?
etc.
So you don't have claustrophobia then? You actually, you like to be in a contained space. You like to be held and you like to be sort of...
Well, my favorite is to be in a contained space right up against the barrier between myself and vastness, okay?
So that is a submarine.
Yes, or like, you know, a small spacecraft, I guess. But like I like to close the door to my bathroom, okay, and turn off the lights and, let's say, take a shower, sit there and steam or something, right? And I like pretending that I'm in the hull of a ship. Again, I'm not even totally sure what hull means. For me, it's just about like being up against the boundary between me and that thing, you know? And then like, but... Wait, how did we get to this? Wait. Oh, the pilot. But the JFK Jr.,
okay. Well, I was just asking whether you're claustrophobic. Because personally, I think this is because my brother used to beat me up when I was a child and he would suffocate me with pillows. I have a fear of being enclosed and being in small spaces. I hate going into the catacombs. I hate going into
the catacombs.
I hate submarines.
There it is. That's what there's the Elizabeth Taylor.
Well, how do we explain this? I was not smothered with pillows. So embarrassing on a 45-minute submarine ride in Aruba.
What?
Vomited the entire time.
The two of you. No. Was it one of those glass submarines?
Glass submarines. You're watching the fish.
Lily,
I was 14.
I think this is your vertigo, your dizziness.
It's the ear,
because it's inner ear gyroscopic balance issues.
No, it all goes back to the ear.
Do you have car sickness?
I have car sickness, seasickness, but I
have car sickness.
Okay.
I just want to say the only thing that helps to do during your car sickness, Eat.
What?
Ooh. Well,
That can't.
Eat.
No.
that okay.
It's true.
I actually
Yes.
think you're right. If you're having, say, a chip, that's in cars, I need so many beverages. I need a coffee, I need a seltzer. Whereas, okay, Liz Taylor is always like, don't mindlessly eat. She loves doing the write down what you eat thing.
Oh, wow. Logging, very 80s.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Oh, this is my log. No,
Yeah.
let's.
And she talks about someone at a dinner party who was logging and at the
By
end,
hand, of course.
and by hand,
By long hand.
on a long reporter's pad. And she was like, and I went up to the host. I also love it referring to someone as the host. I went up to the host of the dinner party and I said to her icily,
Yes.
why on earth did you invite a reporter to this party?
Brilliant.
And then she reveals to you, she goes, darling, she was logging. She was she was writing down each course.
Okay, that's incredible.
She thought it was the enemy. She thought
Yeah.
it was press that was
Press.
going to write a story about how fat Elizabeth Taylor was.
And you can imagine this big, 70s massive dinner party,
Oh my God. Well, I was thinking about what you're saying about the 80s and what she's saying, because the 80s is where we start to get real workout clothing and we start to
Yeah.
get
Cottage
the gym
cheese.
culture.
Can I ask a question?
I will not say my weight, Stephen. Okay, sorry.
Do you exercise?
On and off, okay? So sometimes I am religious on a given yoga video, for example. I am thinking of trying Liz's aqua aerobic because there's a pool in my apartment building.
Oh.
Wait, is it still Melrose Place where you're all around the pool and you can see all the gossip and...
My last apartment was, and my new one's a little different, but my last one was literally when I moved in, the guy said, it's like Melrose Place without the drama. And I was like, sold. I was like, I'm in. But yeah, this is one where people hang around the pool and whatever. And I actually think people do laps. I think I could actually get in there and confidently do aqua aerobics, just staring into mid-space or whatever.
I would die for that.
Do you exercise? What's your regimen? You exercise.
Well, but this is new for me. So I've always been someone who never exercised and I thought it was boring. But
Yeah,
the
of
past
course.
few months, post, the whole pandemic, I had gained some pounds and I was, not fitting into pants in the same way. So that was kind of my motivator. But I had also I just wanted to be healthy and I was going through a very kind of neurotic health period as well, where I'd had surgery on my nasal passages and I was like, am I crazy? Am I not? And I was like, I think exercise could maybe be the key to a lot of these questions.
Totally.
Because then it's you're doing it, you're like, well, I know that I'm being healthy. So now I can kind of gauge whether or not my health issues are actually real.
Yes.
So I kind of committed to it. And now for over 2 months now, I've been going to the gym 5 days a week.
It's shocking. I never thought Stephen would be
No,
that.
I never thought I would be this person at all. It's bizarre. And then you find this, there's this whole community and you're like, I guess I'm one of us now.
To me, the moment you become one of them, and that's the whole thing is they no longer are them. They're in us.
They're
right?
in us, yes.
The moment
yes.
you become them, it's us. I feel to me, with yoga classes, it's even the second time you're back, literally the second time you're back, you're like an elder statesman. You know what I mean? Like if there's a single person who was there last week and then there's someone new, by virtue of there being someone new, you have more experience, you know the drill.
I've never felt that in yoga. I've always felt like the runt of the pack in yoga. I've always felt like I'm jostling for that nipple. I'm wobbling. Everyone else there is all different body types, all different ages, and they all seem to be so much more calm and balanced and not shaking and getting through it.
Right.
Because I also feel that yoga has a vocabulary that it's assumed that It's in another language and they're always and Chaturanga Vinyasana and up and sundown and everyone is following it so
thing.
fast.
That's my thing with yoga. I can't follow. I'm you want me... I mean, I feel so middle-aged community. So, sorry, you want me in what position?
Yeah, okay,
and I gotta follow downward what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take me out to dinner.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm definitely always the man also is coming, or the woman or person coming over to me, and they're like, and if you do need to use the blocks,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A pointed, gentle resting of a block next to you.
Oh, is there anything more
It's like-
insulting?
It's so, you're like, I'm fine, thank you.
I guess there's a question of, obviously, the benefits, the physical benefits are real for sure. Because a follow-up question I have is, did you feel like you had more energy? Because what I've noticed now,
Oh, yeah.
I don't drink coffee anymore.
Okay, Stephen,
I
the
do
last
not
3
need
days, because I normally drink, I think, let's see, if it's 3 shots of espresso in my Americano, I usually have at least 2 of those. So that's 6.
Oh, yeah.
So minimum 6 shots of espresso, okay, normally. And I usually pound that right at the beginning of the day. And since my smoothie, okay, I went and I had one of those and I was like levitating. It was too much. It was like, and I never think I have too much energy because I always fear depression, So I'm like thrilled if I feel close to,
Because the two are so
levitation and, like,
intertwined too. You're like, oh, if I have low energy, then I'm depressed or vice versa.
Yes.
And so,
yes.
yeah.
So I'm like, there's no such thing as too much coffee in my mind, right? And in the last couple of days, I have found myself going, no, I don't need it. And I was like, am I going to have to keep decaf in my home because I'm one of these
Oh, because you need the taste.
I'm
pigs who
yes.
love the taste?
I love the taste, and I'm like,
bizarre.
I've realized, like,
Yeah.
I just, I'm a bean head, and
No, I've been anti, by the way, decaf for life, to be clear. Okay.
right, I want the taste. It's like I want the taste.
Right.
Sorry, of a full fat oat milk with coffee or an espresso, maybe black, dash of whole milk, dash of half and half.
I love the ritual.
On my way here, I feel like what I was like, oh, I could stop at, and get an espresso. But then I was like, I started to question, this has happened the past few weeks. I'm like, I actually don't need coffee. I've had a smoothie. I've had a nice coffee. I just want the ritual of walking in
I
here
know.
with a nice coffee.
Oh, well, I hate to walk in anywhere without a sweating iced coffee. I mean,
Yeah.
it's my armor, so to speak.
Yeah.
No,
And it's many
armor.
of our armors,
Well, it signals to whomever that you're ready.
Yes.
You're ready for something.
yeah.
And also, by way of holding it, explains I've at least been to one other place.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not straight from the bed.
Yeah.
And
I'm about
that is
town.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I checked out a place. And then
It implies errands. It implies a
Yes.
day. It implies a schedule of some sort.
Implies a life. It implies personhood. The other thing, it's like, because why I was like, what makes it similar to a security blanket in that feeling of it? And I was like, oh, I think I know, because no one goes near your iced coffee, right? Like, it would be deranged for someone to try to take a sip from your iced coffee straw, right?
So it's a physical barrier. It's a pre-corona physical barrier.
It's like your own thing. So I have this thing that's just mine, and you
Right.
can't enjoy it. It's just for me and here in my cup. So it's like part of me can hide inside the experience of my own drink. It's like a small room only for
Yeah.
my desires.
That's so true. And I think that actually, wow, this speaks. So I've always thought of iced coffee as being this like very emblematic of what I call gay panic, which is just like this sort of self-involved superficiality that gay men especially are afflicted by. And so like gay men love iced coffee and they love the sound of the ice clanging against plastic.
Yes.
They just want to stomp all over town with this iced coffee because it gives
Yes.
them a sense of purpose. But the interiority that you're
Yes.
referencing, I think is actually another huge part of it.
It's
Because
an externalized
yes,
interiority.
it's public solitude. It's
Yes.
like it's like it's almost like being able to talk to yourself in public, which is something I do all the time.
Exactly.
Well,
without
also,
realizing.
it's crazy what iced coffee does for different people. You, it's your armor.
Yes.
You, it's the panic.
Yes.
Me, it makes me feel more European. Like it's like
Oh,
some
wow.
status symbol that I need to show
Which is
off.
ironic because Europeans really don't drink iced
Do they
coffee.
carry it?
No, they don't. I know.
much
That's actually my fear of going to Europe. I go in there and I can't get a
I mean,
huge
you go to
ice.
Italy, they literally just shoot espresso. They do a shot of espresso. They put it down. They're not walking around
I
with it.
literally watched a TikTok today about how to order coffee when you go to Italy. And
You mean
this
it's
guy
not
being-
venti frappuccino, please?
and this guy was like, if you're American and you come here, look, just describe to us what you want, okay? So you're not
wow.
all disappointed after when you're like,
That's
he's like, if you want a big
hysterical.
coffee, say you want a big coffee, you know?
So Americans walking in the morning, I want it really big, whipped cream.
Mamma mia, coconut refresher.
Oh my god, the refresher model is like I mean, talk about copywriting, like. Although I will say, I mean, I've said it once and I'll say it again. Starbucks and during the holidays, no one beats their marketing. I'm sorry, they nail it every year. They nail the spirit of Christmas.
Celebrity Book Club.
I feel like Liz Taylor would love a refresher. She says she sips on tea all day.
It's like, I mean, the 80s is when sort of Crystal Light started.
Yes. Artificial sweeteners. And part of the problem with... She calls out Tab. She's like, don't, this is it. She goes, talk to your doctor about drinking diet sodas.
Oh wow.
Well, in the exercise section, which is at the end of the book, because exercise was kind of just becoming invented at this time.
Yeah, it's much more about having, a low-fat mozzarella 3-ounce portion on a lettuce leaf with chopped up turkey versus exercise.
But when she gets to the exercise portion at the very end of the book, she's like, and of course, before you start any exercise regimen, speak to your doctor. Like, I'm going to go over the idea of doing push-ups with my doctor. Be like, is this okay for me?
No, and doctors hate talking to you anyway. So imagine it's like they want you out of the room the second you're there. Imagine being like, okay, can we just talk about a few things? What do we think about, me doing aqua aerobics? What do we think about me drinking Fresca after I do aqua aerobics?
Well, yeah, they're always on the way out the door, right?
They are, oh my God.
They're like, any more questions? Slam.
The boot is in your ass the second you walk in. I actually told my last doctor, I told her that I had started going to the gym. And I was like, I'm actually going to the gym now.
She's like, shut up, faggot.
No, she just goes, don't hurt yourself.
Well, you should have talked to her before about it, clearly.
Which I guess that is kind
I judge doctors. Like, I always assume they're behind in the industry. Like, they're not, because they're not up all night Googling like me.
Right.
I think they are, though.
Yeah. Oh, right. We've talked about this, Stephen. I feel like you identified this or something, or you were like...
well, no, I feel like you had said something that was just very...
Oh, on POOG, maybe?
On POOG, that was just really accurate about their sort of, I want to say it's their gatekeeping in the sense.
Oh, yes. And you were saying the hystericization.
Yeah, the hystericization and the impossible position that you're in, because they have all this knowledge and you have nothing. The power dynamic is so imbalanced right when you walk in. And so you have to perform this like good patient where you are knowledgeable and you're bringing things to their attention, but not seem like you're bringing too many things to their attention. They're going to write you off as crazy.
Well, or then we're like, that's a specialist and it's done.
Yeah.
And then you're seeing a busy specialist.
I want to talk about this part in the book where she talks about it clicking and the moment. She's really delighted by, it seems pretty much just the word click. She's like, and the first time I heard someone say click was when Bert Barr said it on a film set in 1962. And he said it just clicked. And I thought, that's what clicking is. And it becomes this metaphor she uses for when she finally sees herself in the mirror and she's like, oh, wait, I'm fat. I do like the idea that she, up until this point, she has like, I'd only see myself in small mirrors, like compact mirrors.
She says, get a full length. That's some big advice.
This is in some ways the crux of the book, is this moment of seeing yourself. And when she's like, I really sort of took in my body in this full length. And I had this realization. And I took it to mean like, she wasn't seeing herself as the way that she thinks people see you, which is, I think, what we usually think of when we look in the mirror. When we usually look in the mirror, we're like, oh, this is what I'm going to look like at a party later. This is what I'm going to look like at the grocery store. This is what I'm going to look like walking down the street. You're thinking of the sort of overall impression. You're not looking at your body and all its grotesque nudity and seeing, oh, that's the sadness and depression I've had for 3 months. That's on the love handle. That's the alcohol I've been drinking. That's that's, the under eye bags. That, you're not seeing your life and your choices and yourself in it. You're seeing like this sort of more superficial version. So I took it to mean that she was seeing like the sort of the sum of her choices in the mirror.
That's very interesting. I actually don't find the nude to trigger the, to click. Okay.
The introspection.
Or to trigger whatever.
Yeah.
Because for me, the nude body And this, perhaps comes from, a live nude drawing class in college and that sort of thing. But this idea that the nude body, whatever the hell it looks like, is beautiful, right? So for me, clothes
trigger.
The moment clothing are introduced, that's where now clothing is about the gaze, right?
Yeah.
Like inherently, because where there is no gaze, there's no requirement for clothing, right? So it's like clothing is for other people in that sense. You have to protect their eyes from your parts. It's like introducing the human element, like the strange animal that is the nude body is just that. And like, yeah, so for me,
it just reads as like nude drawing class. It's just like, it's just beautiful. You're
I
just like,
totally agree. You're like, painting. Look, here am I, Renaissance
like
painting.
Even, I remember our painting teacher, like even making a little comment about like, and he didn't say the fatter the better, but it was almost like more's going on,
right.
Like
there's more to paint.
There's more to draw. Yeah.
Right. It's like, for me, right, it's more of once you're stuffing all your organs into different clothes along the way, it's more of the swimsuit, what's like going to be seen by other people.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel the same way, like looking at
Yes.
clothes. It's the outside perception. But I guess I'm like, too, have you ever had the click where you're seeing self versus what anyone else sees? You're not seeing, I look fat in this, and so I'm worried someone's going to think that. You're being like, there it is.
I mean,
There's the 33
The truth.
years. There she stands. And this is what I've done to her. Like, I don't know. Have you had that?
Well, yes, and I do, and I simply applaud. I've looked at myself in the nude, and I broke into applause for every choice I've ever made. I was already standing, but otherwise I would have jumped to my feet to give myself, and my life is standing. No, I mean, I don't have a lot of mirrors going, and so actually the supposed wake-up calls tend to happen in hotel bathrooms because those
it's a new
have
mirror.
big mirrors.
Because it's wall
and
to
they're
wall.
big,
Yeah,
they're huge,
it's a full
they're
bleed mirror.
wide.
Yeah.
And so, full bleed. And something about that and the size of those bathrooms, sometimes it's like, for whatever reason, I can see more clearly just what's going on in there. And those are sort of the moments of reckoning. But the thing is, like, I don't actively seek out those kinds of moments unless, like...
Well, it's self-flagellating, I guess, right? I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
It feels too gratuitous to be like, oh, well, how dare I? But I do that when I'm hungover, that's when I look at myself and I say, damn.
I do that more with my face, I think. It's the kind of looking at it and it's like, this is because I ate cheese.
Although
versus looking at like my ass being like, that's 33 years of you ordering the cheese plate.
No, I feel like, Stephen, are you telling us maybe you're projecting, like, are you describing your experience?
Well, no, I had even my whole like working out, as I said, like it was more triggered by wanting to fit in pants, which I still think is that external, how I'm seen by the world thing. And then also like wanting to sort of manage my health neuroses and like knowing that that would just make my life easier. I don't think I've had the click moment, and it felt like it was very powerful for her.
I haven't. Mine's all trapped in fear of how others, what they'll perceive about me. Just like total classic
superficial insecurities that drive
and
our everyday choices, and will continue to do so.
Yes. And, I mean, that's what I love about this book, right?
Yeah.
That's why this book is undeniably refreshing.
Yeah.
Okay, says Novak, and because of the throwback of the sort of
well, what's
80s.
funny is it's like everything is still about weight, but you can't say the word weight now. And so everything is like...
It's health.
It's health. And people say, no, the goal is being thin, the goal is being healthy. But it's like people are still trying to get trim waistlines. They're still trying to look good. And they're trying to achieve all the things that Liz Taylor's trying to achieve by putting a scoop of salmon into a hollowed out grapefruit peel.
I will say, I feel like she actually is not, shockingly, not promoting just anorexia and bulimia, which is a little bit of a shock. She is saying, do just keep eating. Yes, here's my recipe for fucked up curry mayonnaise and Liz Taylor's special tomato dip. And all of her dips are so just ketchup, mustard, mayo mixed together.
No, literally ketchup?
Yeah.
Sugar filled again.
I mean, this is her recipe for pureed summer squash. 2 medium summer squash. Salt substitute or salt and pepper. Steam squash until tender. Remove to a bowl and mash with fork until smooth. Add salt and pepper to taste. It's just squash.
Oil-free vinaigrette. I mean,
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's not a
Just
vinaigrette.
balsamic. May I read one of my favorite recipes for
yes.
barbecued squab? 6 servings.
Remind me what squab is.
So
Squab
squab
is-
is a game hen.
I knew it was some kind of game.
It's
Basically a little.
Is it foul or
It's a pigeon, basically. It's
Okay,
a
yeah.
little fancy pigeon. And, it's basically paprika, lemon, rosemary. And she's like, and by the way, if you don't, this is kind of very Ina Garden of her, if you don't have squab on hand, you can use chicken.
Wow. Squab, quail, and game hen are all of the same kind of fancy little chicken category.
Yes. But I guess she is saying, keep dipping carrots in mayonnaise or whatever in mayonnaise and ketchup and have your chicken breast. And I feel like she's like, make it a lifestyle. Don't crash and then
To
go
some
back, which is
extent,
true.
everything she says, I think, she describes being really depressed from being in a play with Richard Burton after they'd broken up. And she was like seeing that and he was going off with
his
new wife every night. And that was depressing. She describes being a senator's wife and just being bored. And that made her eat
can
a
I
lot.
read
No,
this?
that I opened that. I highlighted a few moments from
This
that.
click moment?
Her trip to Washington. I have a couple of Washington.
Okay, go
things that
click
really-
and then go
I mean, just-
DC.
This is a click in reference to relationships. The straw that broke the camel's back came the day he told me he'd sold the house and bought an apartment at Watergate. He said I had to get rid of all my animals. Click. That was the coup de grace. I felt I deserved more consideration. He wanted her to get rid of all the animals. When someone says that to you, click.
I love that click just becomes this thing, just like realizing literally anything. Just having a thought
Yes.
just becomes click now. Just a single thought
Well,
enters
she
your head.
must have had a different metaphor operating in her mind about what an idea was before Click, for Click to have provided
Yeah.
some kind of newness.
Click.
Like perhaps she used to feel like ideas sort of just floating vaguely into
Right.
place, and Click was like maybe really satisfying. Like once it's clicked, you're safe.
Yeah. I mean, it is, just
Like
the
a
literal
seatbelt.
definition of the word. So, yeah,
It's fun to say.
It's quick, it's succinct.
Oh, this is brutal. This was just such a great little run. Naturally, I've been asked if I saw the Saturday Night Live television skit that featured a coal-eyed John Belushi dressed in drag doing a takeoff on the accident. Yes, I saw it, and I laughed. He was very funny. How ironic and sad that gifted young man satirized my excesses and then died of his own.
Wow.
Is that not a bait and switch?
Savage.
No, she
Really
goes
savage.
all the way off.
Oh,
Savage.
How
how
sad.
tragic. I thought he was very funny.
Oh, the skit was hilarious, darling.
Oh, and the thing that was brutal was then in her I've never been so alone in my whole life, talking about her time as a senator's wife, right? And then she's like, John and I never had people in, and we hardly ever went out. Most evenings he'd say, why don't you go upstairs and watch TV, Pooters?
Oh, Pooters. I wrote Pooters down. Yeah, no, Pooters being her nickname. It's really, I guess nicknames are often disgusting in baby talk, but even,
Yes.
Pooters does sound like,
Poot. Like fart. Like a.
it sounds a little fat,
Ew.
I feel. I feel like it's
like
almost,
you-
it sounds like he's
you
making fun of her
fat-
weight, like with Pooters.
He's like, I smell those squab farts.
She's pootering around up there. I don't know. I would have been insulted by that.
Yeah, Pooters felt like, it's like he never said anything about my weight. He said, I love you, Pooters, just as you are.
Yeah.
And you're like, I think he was saying something.
Pooters sounds like you're tucking into a big dish of Sara Lee at the end of the night, like
Oh,
with the
Cool
frosting
Whip.
on top.
Oh, wait. Okay. So one moment of her
Yes.
naughtier times when she talks about her and Rock Hudson, obviously huge fag hag, Liz Taylor, her and Rock Hudson, the best of friends while shooting giant. She goes, we'd go out in Marfa and we would drink chocolate martinis all night long.
Nasty.
No.
Yeah. Yes. To be
So
29.
I've never been drawn to that.
Dairy and vodka
I've
is
never
always
wanted that.
such a nasty combo.
Also, to
No, but,
be
yes, but
vodka,
White Russians are delicious. I'm
Kahlua,
sorry.
Hershey syrup.
You like White Russians, Jacqueline?
White Russians are delicious.
Oh,
I
they
said
are.
it.
They are absolutely are. I haven't had one in years.
Get
but
real, Stephen. Get real. Next time I see you, I'll order one straight to
As
you.
you know, I love egg white in a cocktail, and I will drink a full.
I am literally huge. If egg white's in a cocktail, I'm ordering it.
And
sometimes
I will drink
even
a
am like,
coop's worth of eggtails in a night,
Yeah.
but I do not. Yeah, I guess milk.
frothy-
It's the frothiness that adds thickness. The milk feels too thin to me.
Sorry, I'm going to have to call your bluff here. I feel like I've seen you order an espresso martini.
Literally once an Anguilla
and it was a mistake.
on vacation with my parents.
Seriously, Anguilla?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, first of all, you've been to Anguilla. This is hysterical. Okay,
I took Lily with
you're
me.
going from
No.
the
I say
the
this.
catacombs.
We vomited. We both ordered. I mean, we were literally 16. We ordered chocolate martinis. We both vomited. So there you go.
Oh my God. Well, that's the order that a teen would get, right?
Yes.
You're like, can I? You're like, yeah, no, I'm super old and adult. You have no idea I'm 16, so I'll have a
Cinnamon swizzle martini.
Yeah.
straight up, make it a double.
It had that like Starbucks swizzle straw in it too. That's edible.
Oh, wow.
I guess if it wasn't for judgment, right, if I was at this jazz club, and I was getting one drink.
You'd want it. You're saying the taste. Forgetting judgment. If it was the chicest thing in the world, would you want a chocolate martini? If it was the chicest thing in the world.
I think it would have to be the darkest chocolate.
Right.
More
Chocolate.
coffee, be more espresso martini with maybe a few little cacao nibs.
Floating.
Floating on top.
Floating that you have to kind of...
Floaters.
The tongue.
That's your nickname.
must-
That your husband's calling you. Floaters. That's so gross.
Sick.
Wait, there's one thing I'm dying to get to where she talks about, I think, going to a party or something. And here it is. Okay. This is like heavy. Like she's going deep here and I'm impressed. Okay. Are you ready? So she's talking about learning to eat with non-dieters, right? So she's like, on the first few weeks of your diet, it's impossible and unwise to dine only in solitary splendor for more than a short time. Okay. And she's going into that, whatever. And she goes,
unwise to dine alone when you're dieting?
I think she's kind of trying to say,
because you won't be able to
you
stop.
can't do that forever.
Yeah.
Like, it's
you need to
it's
figure out a
unsustainable
way.
if you have a family.
Right, you need to figure out a way to like live your lifestyle with other people and socially, and not just be having your little like steamed carrot alone. Like you need to figure out how to love life. And I think
if it means logging,
yeah, and maybe that means logging for you.
Logging, furtively logging in the bathroom. But she's like, I was more nervous about what I was going to eat than what I was going to wear. Okay. I finally chose a dress so tight I couldn't have eat an extra lettuce leaf, but it got her through the evening. But then here, this is really stunning to me. And this blows me away. She goes, eventually I learned to take an ornery kind of pleasure in denying myself in the midst of plenty. Okay. So if you're on a diet and doing well, rub it in. She goes, be outrageously virtuous and let your exaggerated behavior act as a shield. Pass up the wrong foods as though they were stepping stones to hell and let the no thank yous fall like rain.
That is incredible.
Genius.
I'm sorry, Pulitzer. Like that
Genius.
is so
Pulitzer.
beautiful and hilarious and honest and brilliant. And it's
Hilarious
like you could
and
never
real.
be that savage and real anymore. And I just like I'm obsessed with that.
I know.
Because of course that is the great joy. Like that is the great joy of like seeing everyone around you indulge and watching the looks on people's faces when they're like, wow, she really just said no to that.
Said
Wow.
no
like,
to the pizza.
Like, and because then you rob them of that lie that they can tell themselves where they're like, oh, well, whatever. She's naturally thin. Like, oh, it just comes easy to her. Look at her downing that bread. And you're like, no, bitch, actually, I'm making the choice that you don't have the discipline to make.
Or even,
and that's why I look like this.
Poor Steven. He can't have this tonight. He's on a diet. How not fun for him. But then it's like, if you said that, then
Right.
you're making us all feel like the orcas, as she says in the book. If you're like, lobster and creme and brandy creme, I could never, darling. That's horrendous for me. Sorry, just for me. I'm sure it's wonderful.
The segment diet. What does she wear? What does she eat? How does she live? So
let's start with what does she eat? I mean, I think we know she's having a 6-ounce skinless chicken breast as listed in here. And
do you mean she as in her? Or do you mean me?
Yeah. No.
she-
Elizabeth Taylor.
Because I said nothing of a skinless breast.
Yeah, you're like,
So
me?
the she is always the royal she, refers to the celebrity.
Brilliant. Okay, sorry
authoress.
about that.
No matter the gender, in our segments, it's always
We're
a
kind
she.
of crazy
Right,
like
because
that.
celebrity is a feminized
Wild. Celebrity
ideal.
is a canonically yes, exactly. To seek fame is to be female.
Do I?
Okay, so now, what do you think she eats? I mean, though, I feel like
I think we've covered it.
We've covered it.
Yes, we've covered what she eats.
What does she wear? Caftans,
Yes.
Halston,
Halston, but
movement.
now that she's lost the weight, more bespoke Halston, tighter garments, bejewels.
I feel like, she was alive through all of the great decades of fashion. The 60s, the 80s, the 40s.
No, and I'm sure she was wearing some pretty 80s workout clothes.
Is a woman
to
of her
walk-
time,
I feel the hairstyle made it. You know, the big 80s hair?
Yeah, the
that she
huge
had.
The
hair.
big circular hair,
Big
yeah.
circular hair. In her case, to me, it just, I don't know. That's what I grew up thinking of her as.
I agree. And so this brings up another point I'd like to bring about Elizabeth Taylor, which I haven't really discussed yet. So I feel like when people say Elizabeth Taylor, they almost always say in the same breath, one of the great beauties.
Right.
It's always like Elizabeth Taylor, one of the most beautiful women who've ever lived.
Yeah.
And it's like the same thing they say about like Marilyn Monroe or like
Audrey Hepburn
or whatever. And like, I think Marilyn, I totally understand. I think we can all agree that the vibe is there.
Are you about to say you don't think she's hot?
Well, I can't wait to get into this. Is she alive?
I've never...
No.
Have you ever seen Cleopatra? Have you ever seen Cat in a Hot Tin Roof?
Well, have you ever seen her young?
I've seen like... I've seen Cleopatra. I've seen like pictures of Cleopatra.
No, but have you seen the film Cleopatra?
I don't know if I've sat down and watched Cleopatra. Maybe my mom. I feel like my mom was always watching it like as a child. But
I feel like if you watch Cat in a Hot Tin Roof and she's in this baby doll dress, I think your mind
and I can see that
changed.
she was very youthful. She talks about her youthful appearance and how youth is this thing you shouldn't chase because it goes away. I thought that was a very beautiful, empowering part of the book as well. When she was just like, "You're never going to be young. Like stop chasing youth. Like just be the healthy, good self that you can be at that age." But I guess I've never thought that her features particularly were like so wildly interesting. Like, I mean, Jacqueline,
Totally.
you have mentioned Giselle in your podcast as being this sort of like gateway to another concept of beauty and like facial structure where you're like, oh, like that's what people can look like now kind of a thing.
Well, I sort of take that back because I certainly wouldn't say, I mean, she's a, blonde, blue-eyed, like tall model, right? I mean, like,
No, I mean, she's very conventionally attractive in some ways. But I guess, as saying even by those measures, Giselle is conventionally attractive. And I guess I was like, by those standards, I feel like Elizabeth Taylor to me is not, her face isn't that.
No, growing up, Elizabeth Taylor was like an older woman with that big hair, right? For me.
Right.
And so I was confused when it was like, she's the most beautiful woman that's ever lived. I was like, what? And then it's like, oh, well, look at young Elizabeth Taylor, okay? When you look at her young, I'm sorry, but when you look at her young, I've said it, I'm like, shit. Okay? I think her eyes are uniquely like outrageous. I think they are.
I think she has this cat-like.
And I think with that black hair.
I'm seeing the photos. I guess I
feel like the photos in this deluxe soft cover don't
I know.
do it.
But I'm looking at these old photos of her. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. This looks like a girl I might see at a party.
Do you think it's this, though? Okay, to be a brunette at that time was revolutionary. Like, it was a little more sex pot. Her vibe.
I guess. Okay. I think it's vibe because she's got the titties and she's got the red mouth and like.
I see what you mean. When you see that photo, I'm not. If I had never seen a movie and I just saw that photo, I'd be like, okay, that's an old actress who's pretty. But I think it's maybe she had this like sexier vibe than most 50s actresses at that time.
This is to me very interesting because, like, for me, Marilyn. Okay. I bow to the icon that is Marilyn, okay? But I'm not convinced Marilyn's stripped down is a particularly, I don't know.
But I think the thing about Marilyn, even more so than Elizabeth Taylor, is there is no stripped down Marilyn. Marilyn is Marilyn. Marilyn is the idea of Marilyn. Marilyn is the blonde hair. It's the dress. It's the wind. It's the boobs. It's the coquettishness. It's all of that.
I feel like Audrey Hepburn and Elizabeth Taylor, they're treated as a phenom, like quality of beauty, like a gifted from birth with this
like
outrageous
it's a rare
and
animal,
undeniable
yes.
beauty. I feel like that is what is like said about those two.
Right. I feel like I grew up thinking people were like Audrey Hepburn and Marilyn Monroe and Elizabeth Taylor are the most beautiful women to ever be born and to have ever lived.
And maybe it's because times had changed, but I just wanted to people even look, because like when I think now, it's like, I mean, like Cindy Crawford and then getting into Giselle, and I think like their mouths are like bigger. They take up more real estate on the face. The jawline is more angular for like both those women. It's like the eyebrows have a more kind of like flatter whatever vibe to them. And I'm kind of like, when I look at Elizabeth Taylor, it's like I don't see those features coming together in the face. And I'm like, maybe faces didn't look like that back then, and that's part of it. But I'm also like, beauty standards have also changed. So
she's rocking a serious boy brow on the cover, by the way.
Thick brows were in then.
But also, I feel like when we were kids, when she talks about these tabloids, like National Enquirer, my childhood memories, like Liz Taylor I do feel like every week, if it wasn't a Tanya Harding or a Monica Lewinsky, it was just like, Liz Taylor has gained even more weight.
No, that's the Elizabeth Taylor I grew up with.
Right.
Like, same with, frankly, like my first introduction to Dolly Parton was boob jokes. Like there were these Dolly Parton jokes. And it's like this similar thing. It's very weird, like where you enter the culture.
Yeah.
And that's what your association is.
When you learn who they really are.
Right. You enter at like this obese woman, Liz Taylor, and then you realize why they went so hard, because they see it as like her falling from shame of being this 50s sex pot.
Right. That's why it's so outrageous to them.
This one
fall
might do.
Fall from shame.
Fall from grace. You know where you fall if you're already shame. Okay, how does she live?
So yeah, to segue into how does she live, I mean, I feel like her Beverly Hills house is the most old Hollywood, like plush, 3 little dogs, you know, velvets and silks and Renaissance, and
even when she's dieting, she uses
Sunset
the
Boulevard.
damask.
It's
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like there's so much fabric.
Yeah, there's fabric everywhere.
Because I think about that woman that you clean for. That's just everything is covered in fabric.
Right.
Fabric in the bathroom. It's like,
you
know, upholstered tables,
upholstered bed. It's like upholstered toilets. You know? This chair is, you know, it's Louis XIV, but that's your good friend who is a producer, and that's his goblet from the great, you know, Tennessee Williams.
No, and it's almost like living in a museum. I think that there's just so much history. Everything is a gift from a friend, is a framed photo from another friend, is a book from someone who died, is a letter opener for someone who died tragically in an accident.
It's very
letter openers, definitely like General Sutton's letter opener.
Oh yeah.
My third husband gave that to me. He won it at auction.
Yeah.
You know.
No, those are exactly the details that seem to accumulate in a life like Elizabeth Taylor's. You know, it's like I go to estate sales and get sort of mini versions of that. You know, I also feel like the items the items procured during travels fill those homes.
So true. Yes, on my great
I brought that
trip
back
to
from China. Yeah.
China Jinx.
I was watching Michael Kors in like AD like video of his condo in Tribeca or something, and it's just like everything is from his travels, but it all looks exactly the same. It's all these just like neutral bowls that are empty on like random credenzas.
I knew you were
and he's
gonna
like,
say that.
And this bowl, and we got this bowl in Malaysia. We're like, we love bowls. We got this in Rotterdam. What can I say? We love bowls.
Oh my
God. They fully all could be from just like Crate Barrel.
I know they could have all gotten them in Crate Barrel. It's you know, you start to have this aesthetic that you just can't escape. I mean, it's like my parents with like turtles, and it's like there's the turtle from South Africa, there's the turtle from Egypt, there's the turtle from. And it's just kind of like, well, they're all just turtles.
It is nice, though. I mean, I do kind of respect the choice to commit to a thing in that way. Like, at least you know what you're buying. At least you know to keep your eye out for a turtle and get out of there, you know?
We're going in for turtle. I think it's a signifier. It's to help people.
It's to help your friends, because like you just have to, you end up spending decades buying your other friends useless things. And there's always another birthday or Christmas, and What do you get
see.
the woman who's into roosters? Another rooster, right? What would you have gotten my Aunt Doris? Another fish. Who's
No,
into
the
fish.
hell of
Yes.
giving birthday presents Like, I love giving and buying presents so much, but I'm like,
30 years from now. I
but
don't think
30
you're gonna
years
love it
from
so
now,
much.
when you're just like, oh,
Again?
God, what do you want?
I think it should not be an expectation that if you get someone a birthday gift one year, that automatically it means you're always getting them one. Like, I think people need to understand.
agree.
Some years I've got it in me. Some years, like, I know it's your birthday in advance and I create a plan. You know what I mean? Like, but some years I'm not, that's not happening. And I think that's okay. I think, you send a Christmas card once
Absolutely.
every 7 years, you're doing pretty good.
Also, if the present
like
comes
jury
to
duty.
you, don't
Yeah.
force it. If an amazing present idea comes, but
Yes.
yeah, I'm
Oh, I
not,
totally agree. I mean,
don't-
you're really good. It's all about seeing something in,
That's the best.
Your birthday's in December. When I find something in July, I tuck it away in a closet and I say, that's going to be fun.
that'll
And
be fun.
No, do you literally, Summer?
We've done that for each other.
But not every year,
But
which
not
I
every,
love.
not every
yes.
year. Not every year.
Right. No, it's only if it happens. But David Sedaris talks about, Hugh, his partner, his husband, and
Right.
long time. And Hugh in the summer, they're sweltering, they're dying of heat, and he'll like buy an air conditioner and tuck it away for Christmas. He'll buy it in July, and it's like sitting in a box wrapped. And he's like, "This is
That's
gonna make a
twisted.
good gift."
Aren't they funny?
They're
I mean,
fun.
that would just really piss me off. Be like, oh, my humorist husband is so funny. Watched me sweat for a season so he could give me this.
I know, but it
gag
wasn't
gift.
Sedaris. It was Hugh, to be clear.
Oh, Hugh did that too.
well, I
Sedaris.
like
Yes.
that.
So Sedaris is telling
well,
a
that's
charming
funny.
story about Hugh,
Oh,
which I
okay.
always enjoy.
That's
always
funny.
enjoy.
Right. When the top has a sense of humor, that's always fun. I love when you back up to laugh.
Yeah, I don't want to
True
blow
professional.
your eardrums out.
Yeah, I don't want to blow the decibels. Okay, who are you in the book?
Well, Mike Todd, of course. I know nothing of Mike Todd. I just clocked his name.
He's the one who dies, right?
In the plane crash, but one of her great loves.
Oh God.
I would say I'm a half cup of tuna salad.
God. I'm a grapefruit where you shell out the fruit and discard it, and then just.
Is that real? Literally in a rind? Because that's deranged.
Yeah,
think
she
in
puts
the
the tuna
rind.
salad in the rind as like this sort of clever, sort of Panera bread bowl-esque serving dish.
And I assume maybe that grapefruit is supposedly has to be used in some sort of Santa Fe-esque fruit salad
Right.
for another breakfast. That's
Yeah.
like slim mozzarella cheese, grapefruit, pecans.
Low-fat mozzarella. Low-fat
mayonnaise.
mozzarella is a joke.
Yeah, so-
Low-fat
Obscene.
mozzarella is a joke.
absolutely obscene. I think you're.
Oh, sorry. You answer.
I mean, well, yeah, we can go either way.
Yeah, you
We
can.
have
You can pass it around.
I guess maybe you are the woman with the log, because I think you would get a real kick out of bringing the log to a dinner party.
oh, the
Yeah,
log.
I mean, do you? Yeah,
The
do you do
log.
I feel like you do log hand occasionally. I guess you're maybe more laptop at the cafe.
I do. I am. Although laptops just, I don't know. I can't go longhand. I don't know what I'm going to do. Neither is working for me.
Neither typing nor writing.
I need to find another way. I would be more of the tape recorder. You know what I mean? You know, the...
Oh, I
I
love the
love
idea of absconding or not even absconding, just at the table, just going 6 ounces of
Yeah.
chicken, 4 scoops,
Well, there's a
paella rice.
I was advertised
Coffee,
a logging,
decaf.
a photo logging app where you log all your food only by taking a picture of it, and like a nutritionist on the other end is like, stop now, or whatever.
What's
Oh,
funny is
God.
that you've sort of disguised it as potentially you're just taking a photo of it for Instagram. Right. The idea that that's less embarrassing than sending it to your nutritionist is really twisted. That's
Yes.
the society we live in.
Yes.
I kind of feel like, I mean, I guess I feel like I'm different Elizabeths at different times.
right.
And it's like, I identify with the pain of having to be in that play with her ex-husband,
Oh,
even though I've
God.
never done that.
Every single night.
I can imagine, like,
My God.
You want to kind of have
I
that
want
trauma.
to have that pain. I want that trauma.
Right.
You know, I seek those painful, dramatic moments. I seek
Really?
the running into the ex and having the heart pounding and, you know, and looking good and being there with your new boyfriend or looking like shit.
Right.
And all
being,
your
you know,
friends gather with you as he walks out stage left
yeah.
with his new wife. Can you believe him?
Yes.
Yeah, you know, to me, that's what life is made of.
So you court those experiences for the highs and lows.
Yeah, to feel alive.
Yeah.
And to make me think that, you know, that mythologizing a previous moment then makes that moment more important. And then, you know, then it meant something to you then, which means that you have lived a life now. And so you just always have to be dramatizing your own
I know.
encounters with the past and your present. Otherwise, the past was meaningless if it doesn't knock the wind out of you today.
Jesus. No, absolutely.
You're also, you're Liz, because you're also marrying like a senator for your 7th marriage.
I would love to do that.
I actually just learned, aside from this book, that she was like, I think at this time, instrumental in like making Ronald Reagan at least like say the word AIDS for the first time.
Oh.
Because she was in that.
Oh, right.
crew.
That was a big thing. I feel like
I mean,
that's one of her legacies, right?
her legacy
Yes.
is AIDS, and I feel like dealing, you know,
Yeah.
attacking it or whatever. And I do feel like, you know, she is one of the very few celebrities who I feel like has a sort of legitimate connection to her charity
Right.
work, where
yeah,
it's like
less of the Sharon Stone,
she
maybe,
really has put in the time, and she's kind of picked one ship and sailed with it. She's not fucking Jessica Alba like dipping her toe into anything that smells like good or whatever.
Well, that's also very 80s. You know, there's not many things going on, and
It's easier to choose one because
it's literally there's too many.
right. I mean, I feel like in the 80s, someone calls you on the phone, you know, and says there's an issue, and you're not.
Let's not sign this
You're
petition.
not inundated with petitions. And
Move
Insta
on.
stories.
MoveOn.org. It's like,
emails.
Liz Taylor's
Right.
not making an infographic.
Certainly
Yeah.
not. And then Jacqueline, I mean, is there anyone that you really resonated with? Any even minor character?
I'm Pooter.
Right.
I mean, I know
Liz.
that's still Liz, but watching TV
Yeah.
upstairs, I mean, that sounds like heaven.
Yeah, pitter-pattering around. There
Pitter-pattering
goes
around.
Pooter.
And someone just saying, go watch some TV upstairs.
That did seem so sweet and touching.
And kind of
Padding
cozy.
up in your silk PJs.
Yes, and to have been in Hollywood, okay. See, when she says it in there, and I love it, like that she didn't care about how she looked because she was a senator's wife. Like it was like, my role is not about beauty right now. My clothes are not like, so why would I be thinking about that? You know, like I actually did relate to that a little bit in the sense that like if you're pursuing, you know, showbiz as we here are, right? Among other things, you become aware that there are contexts in which you're really thinking about your appearance, perhaps, right? But then as a result of that, I feel like I'm a total slob all the other time. Because I'm like, in my home, I'm like, it doesn't matter, the cameras aren't on. And so then I'm almost, I don't know, I understood the sort of compartmentalization.
The distinction between, well, and she says image and self-image and public
Yeah.
image, and Elizabeth Taylor, the actress, and Elizabeth Taylor, the woman.
Politician's wife.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, though, she's making this connection between how you look influences how you feel and vice versa. I'm more of a like, I will put on my nice sweatpants at home because
So
I want to
important.
show my husband that I care.
No,
That I'm putting
totally.
that I'm putting effort into our domestic little fantasy here, because you know you want to say the home is reality and and walking around is real. Well, guess what? The home is a fantasy too. The domestic is a little show you're putting on too. So you might as well get.
Do you
dressed
have a
for
gross
it.
pair of sweatpants, or do you only have expensive sweatpants?
I have a grosser pair. I have a gross pair that I like wear to the gym.
Okay, that's
but
like
I wear
your
over my gym shorts.
Talk about another,
But that's a different performance. Then I am performing the gross sweatpants because
Right.
it's kind of like it's
You're
hot and
nasty,
kind of
gym
and
wrapped.
like it's like fuck. I just gotta get in a workout
Yes.
before the rest of my day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the Liz. Honestly, I'm cheat day Liz. I'm fried chicken, mashed potatoes.
Aren't you the friend she says to watch out for
yes.
who goes over to your apartment and opens your fridge?
That's it. She says there's a type of friend that comes into your house, doesn't even talk to you, doesn't even greet you, just opens the fridge.
Spoiled.
And that's who I am.
That's what you do every time you
Yeah,
come home.
I come in here, get out of my way. But it's just a casual. It's like, I just want to know what's going on with you and your fridge.
It's
me getting
how
to
you
know.
greet. It's like a dog sniffing another dog's asshole. Like you open the fridge door. What have they
What's
been up to?
happening?
Yeah.
Have you been cooking at home a lot this
Yeah.
week? That changes the vibe. Oh, there's nothing in here. You've had a wild week.
God, yes.
You've been out on the town. I sniffed the fridge.
Yeah.
I'd love to get a picture
Well-
of both of your fridges. Doors open, please.
Oh God.
Oh, let's
Later.
all post our fridges for
That would be
this.
fun with that. I'll do it.
Fridge.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Fridge
Mine.
selfie.
Okay.
This was such a joy, Jackie.
A journey. Jacqueline takes off.
I've often said, I'm never happier than when I'm in context with you. I just, it's
heaven.
it's freeing. And it
I
really
love you
is.
guys
And
so much. I have the best
know.
time with you.
To talk to you, it's like Make-A-Wish Foundation.
I mean, as my mother said, the first time she went to dinner last summer,
oh.
What do you mean the first time she went to dinner?
the first time she went out to a restaurant, like after, quarantine ended on Nantucket.
Wait, it ended last year, you mean? On Nantucket?
Yeah. It's over.
got
It's been
out
over
early.
there for
when
years.
they started doing outdoor distance
Right.
masked, whatever, and we were at a restaurant, and she just goes, I feel human again.
Oh my. Okay, I need to meet these people.
Which is how I feel with you.
So good. So
But
honored.
thank you so much for coming on our humble little podcast.
Maybe
Thank you
you'll come to
so
reopening
much.
night. Remember you were at opening night of my show?
Oh, for Goik?
Yeah.
Get on your knees.
Show.com.
Get on your knees. Cherry Lane Theater.
Show.com at Cherry Lane Theater, New York City. Listen to POOG Podcasts on Apple, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. Follow her on Twitter at Jacqueline Novak.
On Instagram
And-
at
Listen to her goddamn
JACNOV,
album.
aka Jack Nova.
Yeah.
Vintage vibes.
Buy her album.
Oh, yeah.
Stream it.
Yeah, buy her fucking book. Did we mention she's an author?
Yeah, so we have an authoress on here.
How to Weep in Public, Feeble Offerings on Depression from One Who Knows. So
It is every
It's
bit
an
as good
amazing
as
book, yeah.
this Taylor book. Thank you.
thank you so much,
Thank
guys.
you so
It's such a pleasure.
Huge
and
pleasure.
We'll see you in the Big Apple.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Ciao.
Ciao. Best.
Celebrity Book Club.
So, yeah, next week's book. You're probably wondering, can they read another? Yes, we can.
She reads, and she shall be reading a book by PR maven, fashion publicist, and all-around New York icon and reality TV star Kelly Cutrone. And her book, If You Have to Cry, Go Outside, and Other Things Your Mother Never Told You.
It's seriously going to be an amazing, fun read. And if you've ever considered, oh, should I read the book with him? I'm scared. Do I know how to read? I don't know. Do I have the time? Seriously, read this book with us.
Do it. Read a book.
Dare you.
Please rate and subscribe. Go on iTunes. If you listen to this podcast, if you have not left a review on fucking iTunes, I will come to your house and I will write a scarlet letter above your door in red pig's blood.
And I just want to say we had some new reviews come in. And
did we?
And I'm obsessed with them.
Okay, I'm horny
Yeah.
even just hearing about them.
No, so
if you want me to be
haven't left a
horny-
review and you're like, oh wait, Lily and Steven are talking about these amazing reviews.
I'm so intimidated
Oh,
to
I'm
write
so
a review because
scared
everyone
to
who
write
writes
a
review is like so
review.
smart and that's such a good writer. And like little old me, I just listen to my podcast. Like I made stupid little headphones. I made stupid little bus. It's like, no, bitch. Actually, you're a real person and you can goddamn write a review like anyone else. Pick yourself up by the goddamn bootstraps and type.
Get out the digital quill, bitches. Okay?
Quill the fuck up.
Follow us at CBC the Pod on Twitter and Instagram.
Eat a monk bar, write a review, and
Screen grab.
if you have to cry, go outside.
Hell yes. Mug up.
Okay, best.
Best.
Reporting live from Jakarta, this is Celebrity Book Club, which is presented by Prologue Projects and Hadgum in Beijing. The show is produced by Meg Manane in Dubai, with editorial support from Leon Nafak in Tehran, Andrew Parsons in Las Vegas, and Madeline Kaplan in Sao Paulo. Our production manager is Persia Verlin in London. Engineering by Faris Monchi in Rome. Original theme song by Stephen Phillips Horst in Los Angeles. Artwork by Teddy Blanks at Chips NY LA Dubai. Follow us on Twitter at CBC The Pod. Subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Leave us a review and don't forget to tell all your international friends about us.
That was a HeadGum podcast.